So far, Severance Season 2 has offered countless jaw-dropping twists and changes, and one of the most interesting is the appearance of Miss Huang, who many viewers believe could be connected to Gemma's death. But before we get into it, if you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button, drop a like and comment on the video, and if you're able, please sign up for channel memberships for exclusive content, which really helps us out. Anyway, back to Lumen. So, first introduced in Season 2, Episode 1, Miss Huang is a young girl who now works at Lumen as the deputy manager of the Severed floor. Due to her age, Miss Huang's appearance is not only mysterious, but also slightly funny. Yet, this strange humour may simply be a cover for what Miss Huang actually represents, which is an answer to Gemma's death. Notably, Severance is full of vague mysteries and hard to answer questions, but one of the biggest plot points of the series right now is the death or survival of Mark's wife Gemma. Before Mark was severed, his wife was killed in a car accident. However, after Mark's innie reached the outside world at the end of Season 1, he discovered that Gemma and Miss Casey, the Lumen Wellness Counselor, were the same person. Thus, Mark and his peers are now trying to discover what happened to Gemma, and many viewers have their own theory about the case. The theory that Miss Huang is connected to Gemma's death centers on the brief line from Season 2 when she reveals that she used to be a crossing guard. Considering the fact that Gemma died in a car accident, many started to wonder if Miss Huang was involved in the crash somehow. Perhaps Gemma ran over Miss Huang in the accident and both of them were severed after the fact. If this was the case, Lumen could have severed the pair right before they died or somehow severed them later. This theory opens up a new can of worms about Lumen severing people at or near death. Gemma may be dead in real life, but her severed counterpart Miss Casey could have remained safe and alive. Miss Huang's involvement would not only prove that Lumen is severing people right before death, but it would also raise questions about what made Gemma and Miss Huang candidates for Severance and how they fit into the greater Lumen story. It would also explain why Miss Huang is so young. She was a Severance experiment who didn't get to grow any older. In reality, the Miss Huang theory opens the door to many more theories about what Lumen is doing and what the Egan's family's intentions are. For example, if Miss Huang was severed but her outie was dead, that would mean she only exists inside Lumen and has no agency outside the workplace. Her innie would essentially be designed to be the perfect worker without any chance of escaping Lumen or its ideals. Having an innie without an outie would allow Lumen to craft ideal Kia Egan followers without them yearning for more like Mark and his colleagues. This theory is especially interesting because it flips the controversy of severing people on its head. In Severance, the existence of innies and outies is a hot topic because if an innie is fired, they are essentially killed. A person who once existed no longer exists. However, if Lumen is severing people who are near death, then it is a completely opposite problem. A person who should have gone from the world is forced to exist inside a soulless workplace without knowing the truth of who they are or what happened to them. Apart from the theory that Miss Huang was involved in Gemma's death, viewers have other less than perfect hypotheses. For one thing, some have posited that Miss Huang could be the daughter of Gemma and Mark. Presumably, Gemma would have been pregnant with Miss Huang at the time of her death and Lumen could have cared for the child. The big flaw in this theory though is that Miss Huang seems to be about 12 years old and Gemma only died 2 years earlier. In this way, the former Miss Huang theory is much more satisfying than the daughter one. Regardless of which theories are right or not, Miss Huang will continue to play an interesting role in Severance. As Mr. Milchick's job controlling Mark and his team becomes more difficult, Miss Huang's position will likely also be harder. It would be great to see Miss Huang crack under the pressure just to get a sense of what her real feelings are underneath her Lumen mask. Hopefully, Severance will offer answers soon enough about Miss Huang's role and her potential connection to Gemma.